we're going to go over the planetary aspects that are surrounding us and affecting us for this week, May 29th through June 4th. This week, we start out an energy that's carrying over from last week. And a lot of this week revolves around the planet Mars. So this week is going to be a pretty interesting week for those of you that are my Mars-ruled friends. Those are the ones that have their sun in Aries, their moon in Aries, or their ascendant in Aries in the birth chart. Okay. Mars is considered your ruling planet, and Mars for all of us is the engine that drives us. It's what gives us motivation. It's what gives us determination. It's what gives us the courage and the confidence to move forward to get things done in life, right? Now, when Mars is repressed, we kind of feel like we're lacking the initiative to do these things, right? And when Mars makes tough aspects to planets, we especially feel like we're running on empty, right? And that's exactly the case what started at the end of this past week. And it kind of moves through the rest of this week too, especially for my Mars friends that are ruled by that sign in Aries. And also Capricorn, because the other planet that's opposing Mars that started at the end of this week is Saturn. Saturn, of course, rules Capricorn. So if you're a Capricorn sun, moon, or ascendant in your birth chart, you're also going to be feeling this too. Now, when Mars and Saturn face off, it is like fire and ice. They just don't get along, right? And when the two of them face off, it's interesting because Mars wants to go, 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 and Saturn wants to stay, 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 and get some solid footing. So you've got that push and pull between let's start something new and no, let's wait until things are right to make it happen. So there's this stalemate, stagnation, and in turn we get some frustrations, we get delays, and we get upset. That energy is going to be carrying through the rest of the week for our certain friends. But ultimately, the best thing that they want you to do is just take a breath, understand that these things are pushing through and happening for a reason. Because ultimately, there is some great new beginning that you are being pushed to bring to the surface. But Saturn, that icy planet on the other hand, is reminding us in a way that it hasn't for 3 years. It's been 3 years since this has happened. It's reminding us that you got to have good solid footing, okay? But in the time, you may feel like a little bit rebellious towards any sort of authority figures, any kind of rules, any kind of structures, because you feel so limited this week. It's okay. Know that the universe is feeding you these Brussels sprouts, making you stop for a minute because something great is coming. Just know it's on the way and know we need to be patient, right? It's interesting, too, why I say this affects our Aries-ruled friends the most, the ones with their sun, moon, ascendant, Capricorn as well. Because in astrology, it can be one way or another, right? Aries friends tend to be impulsive. They tend to do things out of instant reaction. They may not think before they act, okay? Because they are the natural leaders of the zodiac. They have that fire in them to charge when necessary and to move blazing forward into the future and think about the consequences later, okay? That's what Aries tends to do. Saturn may be slowing you down this week, okay, if you are that type of Aries. In astrology, it's one way or another. So you're the Aries that either is very impulsive and fired up and ready to go, or you're the Aries that can't get fired up, right? Because it's black or white in astrology. There's no real gray area. So we also have our Aries friends that have incarnated this lifetime that need that push. They need that go. And then we have the other, and so this week it may be something along those lines more, getting you moving. The universe says you've waited long enough. Saturn on the other one, that ones that makes us hold it down and wait. It's been holding you back enough, Aries. Now's the time to be the leader for yourself. For yourself, right? Not just for everybody else, for yourself, because that's what your sign is focused on. The path that you have in this lifetime, right? That's what it is. So then on the other end, we have our Capricorn friends, okay, that are getting affected by it too. You're the ones that will stick and stay and not move, okay, because you want to make sure everything's got solid footing. Maybe this week Mars is trying to push you, just like that other Aries, like we were just talking about, to finally get moving. Maybe it's time to finally get moving. Or maybe it's the opposite too. You need to slow down and think about things a little bit more too. Whatever it is, intuitively, you're going to know. And this aspect hasn't happened since 2014. It's not going to happen again until 2020. So just know that it will go through as the week does. And in that time frame, you'll also know what you need to do to get your plans rocking and rolling on good, solid ground moving forward. So that's one of the energies that's happening. Now, the other thing that's happening with Mars this week is not only is it kind of feeling stop and go and frustration and delays and back and forth and which way do I go? Not only is that happening, but we also have Mars moving into a new sign. Keep in mind, Mars has been limited. Last year, it was pretty much stuck in the same sign of Sagittarius all year, wanting to move, wanting to explore, wanting to find the truth of the matter, but it was stuck not being able to really find that and also being limited, okay? Now it's moved forward, starting at the beginning of this year. And as it's gained momentum, we all feel like our engines are starting to fire on all cylinders. Now this week, on, the 4th, on Sunday the 4th, Mars moves into the watery sign of Cancer. Now this is kind of tough for Mars, because like I said, Mars is impulsive, it's fiery, it wants to go, go, go. And when it lands into this watery sign of Cancer, it's forced to think with its emotions. And Mars doesn't like that. Mars wants to just get rocking and rolling and think about it all later. But now it has to stop and feel and think, is this the right thing to do? Is this a wonderful thing to do? So what we find as Mars goes through this, of course, this is going to affect our Aries friends the most, right? Like we said before. All of us are going to be affected like this in a way that we haven't since 2015, because it's been a couple of years. It's been a few years actually since Mars has been transiting through this sign. It's been a while. So we find that a lot of our energy and our motivation is going to be coming from our emotions over the next 6 weeks as it tours this watery sign. Our drives are based on those feelings and emotions as opposed to logic or and not only that, but we're also going to be driven to do things for our home, for our family, for our security and our foundation, and the things that happen in our past that make our future. There's a lot of drive focused on that. So this is a good time over the next 6 weeks to do some home improvements, to make some projects or, get some projects underfoot for the home. Maybe there's some projects you need to do for your family, right? This is the motivation that comes through so you can stand up for yourself, do what you need to do to make these things happen. Problem is when Mars goes into the sign, it's not as direct as it normally is. It's a little bit more muted. So you may find that instead of being direct with your responses or being, a little curt with how you say things, you may be a little passive aggressive. All right. Because that's what Cancers do, right? The crab that scuttles sideways, right? And you'll be defensive about it. Maybe not necessarily say what you want to. So just kind of keep that in mind, that the defenses may be a little bit up. You may be a little sharp like a crab, but ultimately these things are coming from your emotional base, and that's okay to get in touch with, because we really haven't been able to get in that touch for a few years now. So no matter what the goals that you have set when it comes to home, family, if you have to move, if you have family issues going on, if you just are having wonderful things happening for your family, now is the time that Mars is coming through and bringing that drive and determination to get it done and to pursue these goals with tenacity. That's the cool thing, man. The crab may be sharp at times, but it sure is relentless, okay? And it will not give up without a massive fight. So you'll also find that you have that energy as well going over the next 6 weeks. Mars friends and Cancer friends are going to be, Aries friends and Cancer friends are going to be affected the most by that. So, and the last thing that we have going on this week that's a major aspect is going to be Venus and Uranus aligning, conjunct. They go in line and they take on each other's energies. Venus, of course, being the planet of love and money and harmony and balance. And Uranus being the planet of unexpected, crazy, chaotic things, right? Electric energy and things along those lines. So you bring those two together and what do you get? Some really random experiences and relationships. I'll tell you that. Some unexpected news that may come through. Some unexpected people that may show up. An unusual relationship may appear that breaks some sort of barriers, and as quickly as it appears, it may also disappear as well, because Uranus is known for that. You never know, it's unexpected, right? But no matter what it is, right, these energies that come through, they help us to look at things in a different way, under a different microscope, and it helps to liberate us from things that have been holding us back in the past. We know that Mars and Saturn this week are reminding us of our limitations, and this is that type of energy that's going to break us free from it, okay? If it's in terms of relationship, love, money, or if it's in terms of just feeling stagnated in general in a certain area with these things that bring us the balance in our life. Mars is coming through, Saturn's coming through this week to help us break through it. Thanks to Uranus, that planet of unexpected things. But remember, it's going to be unexpected, right? That's the thing with Uranus. You never know what to expect. But by golly, it sure liberates you and it frees you and it leads you where you need to go. Especially in this year, right? 2017. I have to say it every reading, and I'll say it again this time. 2017 is the year of the eclipses in Leo, the year where we start feeling what it is we need to do to be happy. The year of happiness, bringing it in ways we haven't seen in 10 years. And Jupiter, the planet of opportunities, is opposing that Uranus that brings us those unexpected things. And as you accept these weird instances that happen in life, Jupiter comes through and brings blessings in return. This is the year where Jupiter goes through Libra, balancing the scales in relationships, in love, in money, and in ways in general that bring overall balance and harmony in our life like we haven't seen in 14 years, okay? This is a year where scales are balanced to bring us happiness, okay? If you're feeling selfish, don't. That gets brought to the surface too as Mars opposed to Saturn this week. Those things that we want deep within, there's a reason why we want these things in our life, because they're vital and they're important. Maybe they're not heard. Don't worry, the scales are going to balance this year for you, and Saturn reminds you that though there may be limitations in with that, not just this week, my goodness, but just this past year, this past couple of years, ultimately the things are working behind the scenes to push it through. Just send out into the universe what it is you do want, right? Thoughts create reality, and that becomes very, very much to the forefront as we go through the sun transiting through the sign of Gemini, which just started this past week. It goes on for the next few weeks, reminding us that it's important to communicate what's going on here through here to whoever it is you feel needs to hear it. Okay, sometimes it's just the process of actually verbalizing something that helps you to recognize and realize what it is you do really want. Not what you don't want, right? Focus on what you don't want, you get more of it. Right? So, hey, let's do a reading, okay? Let's do a reading for the week. I've got all these wonderful stones that my wonderful stone lady Lori got for me with her most recent batch of stones that she has mined. So cool. I love getting these raw stones from the earth, and they bring us such amazing energy. So let's see what Archangel is working with us this week through these stones to bring us messages. So, ooh, look at this. Ooh, isn't this fun? Oh, and I love it too. What a cool chunk of moonstone, huh? That's a good one. It's a beautiful chunk of moonstone, and it's almost like it's got some citrine in it too, but it certainly is a moonstone. Moonstone. You know who moonstone rules, or well, who it is Archangel Haniel. Archangel Haniel is the angel of the moon. She is the angel of the sign of Cancer, right? We just talked about Mars starting to come through and really motivate our Cancer type friends, right? Our Cancer type friends get so limited in their comfort zones, and they're happy in their home base. Sometimes they won't move forward, okay, because they're so focused on the needs of their family and their home, and that they don't think of themselves and what it is they truly want, right? And they avoid those feelings as well. But all of us can too, right? Sometimes we become too focused on what the needs of others are. We lose sight of what we want. Archangel Haniel is the angel of intuition that helps us understand these things better. She helps us get in touch with our natural God-given gift of nurturing, of intuition, of mothering, and of unconditional love. She's coming through this week, bringing us some messages as Mars starts to go through and motivate and push these folks that normally wouldn't move out of their comfort zones out. And she's telling you, follow your intuition as you do so. And all of us. So let's see what else Archangel Haniel has to say to us now. I'm going to do this guy 4 times. that's Archangel Haniel. Oh, look at that. Isn't that cool? And she brings through, and this is really cool too, because this is a little bit more of a yellow toned moonstone. And at first I thought, because usually citrine is going to be Archangel Uriel, the angel that detoxifies toxic thoughts from our minds so we can bring good in. This is Archangel Uriel that's coming through with an additional message saying that as you follow those impulses that come through that solar plexus of yours, when you feel this is what I want, I have the courage to do it. When you follow that, good things result. This is the Sun card. This is one of the most positive cards we have in the entire tarot deck. Happy outcome, brilliant new ideas that lead to success. So have confidence in yourself, right? Have confidence in yourself. And I love this too, because right here I see this as the planet Venus, and Venus is going to start appearing in the sky in the morning to us again. You start seeing that planet out there in the morning hours when you're getting ready to go to work, 7 o'clock in the morning, that giant brilliant star. It's not a star, it's Venus. And remember, this is the year of Venus. Like I said, as Jupiter goes through Libra, it's a ruling planet Venus. It's balancing the scales in love and money. And if you find that those areas are out of whack, out of balance in your life, look at that planet in the morning and send out your intentions of what you do want as opposed to what you don't want. And good things will come through. Follow your intuition. Let's pull another card too, eh? Get a little bit more guidance here from good old Uriel, who also rules Aquarius, which is the planet that is ruled by that planet Uranus. And how cool is that? That we were just talking about Venus, and it's aligning with Uranus this week. Uriel's planet, right? It's telling you, look, if I bring you some random opportunity that comes through for love or money this week, pay attention to it, right? Because there's a message in it. And I'm going to give you the confidence to do what you need to do. And the understanding and the wisdom to know the difference, right? That's where the intuition comes into play. Always ask for their help. They can't do it unless you ask. You can't. And sometimes these chaotic situations appear so quickly that we react on impulse or we don't do anything because we're stuck in a comfort zone. We have this amazing guidance that comes through. Then we need it, but we got to ask for it, right? All right. Let's do this guy 4 more times. For the sign of Cancer, ruling the 4th house in astrology, home and family and childhood and mothering and nurturing of ourselves and others and unconditional love. So, oh, I love this one. I haven't seen this card. I don't know if I've ever gotten this card as I've done a reading. Okay, this is a cool card, right? And I think of a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful client of mine that I have that uses a wonderful metaphor like this as well. The perception card indicates that a lot of times we think things are going to be worse than what they really are, right? And in the story behind that goes with this card here, we have to follow our heart. Hold on, my fingers are going backwards. We have to follow our heart center, right? Because that's leading us to where we need to go. Butterfly over here representing the freedom that we need to get these things done. And how I say that this card reminds me of my client, because she uses this metaphor that is so perfect too, that it's very difficult sometimes in life because we feel like we're stuck and it's hard to go through these doors into the next phase. See, she's got her hand on a doorknob right here. Because when we actually put our hand on the doorknob and we turn it and we open to go into that next phase in our life, we can't go back to where we were comfortable. And sometimes that's scary. Well, every time that's scary, right? Because a lot of times what we're leaving in the past no longer suits us, right? There's a reason why we're opening that next door anyway, because there is something else that's waiting. And our perception is that if we go into this next phase, bad things will follow. And I tell you what, if you keep thinking that, that's exactly what will follow. So follow what your heart is telling you to do. You're being led for a reason. Follow your intuition for a reason, because as you do, wonderful things will happen. Okay, it's all in how we perceive it, right? Don't be scared of the doors, right? My wonderful client out there, I know you say this, and I know you understand this, and I know you're watching this one too. You know about those doors in the hallway, right? Right? Let's leave some of those doors shut, and let's move into those next phases in life, because the sun is waiting to bring wonderful things in return. So, everybody, have a wonderful week. Thank you for watching. Bye.